start the fight, breaking down the walls in the dead of night. I don't come for peace, I come for the storm. Fanboys melt quick when the truth gets warm. Saw content's high, I'm collecting those tears. Just got started, but I'm cutting through fears. I'm not here for brand deals, I'm not for sale. I expose your lies, rip off the veil.
Because I am genuinely excited for the future of the Nintendo Switch 2 and just being a Nintendo fan in general with their IPs and the various things they're doing with Lego sets. And
really, we didn't know that you were so invested into the success of Nintendo. The channel of your name, Nintendo Prime, that doesn't make us think any way at all.
Movies and all of that, but obviously everything isn't perfect. There are tons of things Nintendo does, as a lot of companies do, that are just not really great. More recently, obviously, with the raised prices on Switch 1, and I understand they talk about.
Yeah, that's understandable. And Primey, we understand that you sit here and do speak out against Nintendo, but usually when you do speak out, it's about something that's a small minor thing. It's not really the major of it. And then you sit there and are like, oh, well, what can we do? When you know what we can do, it's called you fight.
Market conditions, and I got the accessories as well for Switch 1 and Switch 2 going up. Amiibo prices getting pretty wild.
Oh yeah, it's so because of the market conditions. It's a two-part market condition. The tariffs and the Nintendo people who voted with their wallet for this to happen.
I understand some of it to a point. If you're a business and you're just about making money, that's kind of what the deal is. I want to be very clear, and I don't.
All of us understand that a company needs to make money. All of us know, because if they don't make any money, we're not going to continue to get games. That is very true. But when a company goes out and says, oh, we're making record profits, then they lay off people. I know that's not Nintendo, but other companies have. And then you got Nintendo saying, oh, we're making record profits. Then they're releasing $80 games. Then they're releasing also $80 and $90 Switch 2 games. Then they're sitting here jacking up the prices of the older ones. It's like, what? If they decide to not eat the cost, they would go from making record-breaking profits to regular profits. That's when it becomes ridiculous.
I'm not really sure when this ever got lost in translation, but it has for some. Nintendo as a company is not something I genuinely care like super much about. They are a multi-billion-dollar business.
Oh, yes, you do care. You care about them, or you want to sit here and have a channel dedicated to them. Come on, Primey, stop lying.
And as a multi-billion-dollar business, they exist to make money, which is what all these big companies do. Doesn't mean I have anything against the people working at these companies. Doesn't mean I have anything against
well, most of us don't have anything against the people that are working at the companies, maybe the people that are making decisions. And again, we understand that they have to make money, but there's a difference between making some profit and ripping us off.
Other aspects of the company, the game developers and stuff like that, like there could be some things I disagree with when they make certain choices with games, but in the end, I'm not ultimately upset with that stuff.
Of course not. Why would you? You get a tax write-off on a lot of these games.
And I try to look at Nintendo from a business perspective because I'm also running a business, and I like to step back and take a look at.
Primey, there's a huge difference between you and Nintendo. Not because Nintendo is worth a lot more. We don't pay you. You don't charge us money to consume your product. Nintendo does, so that's where the difference comes from. I understand that you're trying to sit here and think of it more like a business, but it's not even comparable, your situation to theirs. You should be looking at it more as a consumer.
Okay, business-wise, why are they making these decisions? And then obviously from the consumer side, how does this affect us? Usually negatively. That's kind of the way decisions at businesses go. They're making decisions to make money, and the best way to make money is often to do things that are not very pro-consumer.
There are plenty of ways to make money that are also considered pro-consumer. If they would have sat here and swallowed the cost of the tariffs, that would have been a pro-consumer thing. If they would have sat here and gave us the same Switch that the Japanese get, I don't care, I'll take a region-locked one, and they would have gave it to us at the same price, that would have been a pro-consumer thing. How about not ripping us off to fund another country? That's also would be considered a pro-consumer thing, Primey.
That's not the only way. There's obviously ways to make money that are pro-consumer, but for the most part, to maximize and become as big as Nintendo is, you're going to have some
Primey, that makes absolutely no sense. They became the biggest they've ever been under the Switch 1, which the Switch 1 was a fair price. The games were fairly priced also. Maybe not Tears of the Kingdom. I still got to play that one to decide if it's fairly priced, but I have yet to play a $70 game that I thought was a good deal for the price you got.
Decisions that I don't like. I'll give you an example. This is great for their pocketbooks, but I do not like that they charge for online. I don't like that Xbox does it. I don't like that PlayStation does it. To play an online retail game, not a free-to-play game, but an online retail game.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. You should not be playing for online. Just like he's trying to sit here and say, you already bought the console, so they made money off of that. Then you buy their games, they're making money on that. It's just ridiculous how they're charging for online.
From any of these companies, let alone Nintendo, on a console, I have to pay to access the internet I'm already paying for. Don't have to do that on PC, by the way.
Well, that is one reason why PC is better.
Is I don't agree with all of these decisions these companies make, and I'm still excited for the future of Nintendo in spite of some of these bad choices. But we got to go over the bad decisions.
And this is why it's hard to believe you sometimes, Primey, especially when you sit here and say like, oh, I don't think Mario Kart World should be $80, but then you still hype up and gush about the game at the same damn time.
Nintendo has made a lot of very interesting decisions, bad decisions, I would say, this year. And some of these decisions are, well, all of them are driven by money, but...
Oh, yes, they have. And unfortunately, it is your guys' fault. A lot of the Nintendo people, you guys spoke with your wallet, you guys consumed the products, you guys showed Nintendo it was okay to do.
Some of the decisions are driven in a way that isn't 100% their fault. There's other factors involved, like when Nintendo's increasing prices. Look, if there wasn't a bunch of weird things going on in the economy and tariffs and whatever else going on, maybe these price changes never happen, but
yeah, maybe. And also maybe if Nintendo fans didn't sit here and speak with their wallets so damn much telling the company that it's okay to do this, we wouldn't have this stuff happen either.
Either way, Nintendo could eat the cost, right? They could eat the cost, especially with Switch 1 stuff. I don't find any excuse there. You've already made billions and billions and many tens of billions of dollars off of Switch 1 at this point.
Finally, Primey, you're showing that you're a man. Finally, you're showing you have some balls. You keep going.
Is other things just stick with the price point. The Switch 2 being $450. That's the one thing that I'm not actually that upset about. Look at how much the Switch OLED is now.
Oh yeah, look at how much the Switch OLED. How about you look how much it is in Japan, Primey?
Things are just not as cheap to make as they once were. And so I'm not actually that upset about this price point. And it really just falls in line with what they charge for things like a Steam Deck.
I don't recall the Steam Deck giving Japan such a cheaper one compared to us, Primey. There's a huge difference.
Stuff like that anyway, so I'm actually okay with it. The $450 price point doesn't bother me. The $80 price point for Mario Kart World, on the other hand, it does bother me. Now,
oh yeah, it so bothers you, you still went out and bought the game. Yes, I know you bought it in a bundle, but nonetheless, you still bought it, you still support it, you still gush about it. Outside of the $80 price point, that's the only thing I've ever heard you say negative about it, and I've seen you get triggered when people sit here and criticize that game. Well, maybe not triggered, maybe that's a strong word. I've seen you get upset.
in the past, it didn't bother me heading into launch because I have reason to have faith in Nintendo with their games.
We used to have extreme faith with Nintendo's games, especially at good prices. Now they're releasing overpriced games like Mario Kart World. Even DK Bonanza was overpriced. There wasn't even enough quality content to justify a $70 price tag.
The whole reason I even play a Nintendo system isn't the system itself, it's the Nintendo games. Games are why I do any of this, why I even have this YouTube channel. It's all about the video games.
How much do you want to bet he would get severely angry if the Nintendo games ever went over to other platforms?
And heading into launch, I kind of figured there's probably enough going on in this game for it to be $80. Like I can deal with having less tracks, I can deal with having less this, but that open world mode must have a lot more to it.
Primey, why didn't you sit here and give this much grace to Sony when they released games at $70? I remember seeing a tweet on Twitter of you sitting here complaining that not as many people were giving so much criticism towards Sony when they did it towards 2K for when they released a $70 NBA game. I don't remember really hearing at all any criticism.
there must be, and that was just all assumptions I had because I had faith in Nintendo's development teams. And by no means am I saying that Mario Kart World is a bad game, but I have it. I've played a lot of it, and let me just say, I am thrilled that I got it in a bundle.
Whenever I hear a lot of Nintendo YouTubers say, oh, I don't agree with being $80, but I'm glad I got it in a bundle, you know, they might be a little bit happy that the price of the game, that they paid a little bit less for the price of the game. But guess what? I guarantee you, if there wasn't a bundle, I guarantee you those Nintendo YouTubers would have still paid $80 for that game. I guarantee you they could have released DK Bonanza at $80 and they still would have bought that game.
I was a little nervous about that $80 price feeling worth it, and I actually feel satisfied with the bundle price. I do not feel satisfied knowing that some people are spending $80 on a game that I don't think is worth $80. I'm not even trying to compare it to what Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was.
Really, Primey, I have watched you before sit here and gloat on how many people were buying the physical copies of it, paying $80 for it, just to sit here and shut up the naysayers. Come on here, Primey. Who are you trying to fool?
Coming up here, we got Kirby and the Forgotten Land DLC. No problem with that DLC being $20. A little bit of a problem with that game being $80 on Switch 2 to buy it brand new. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was Mario Kart 8 plus its DLC from the Wii U, right? All put together for the original selling price of Mario Kart 8.
Oh, and very true, Primey. I completely agree with you that game should have been $60 at launch with the included DLC. Because I seriously doubt, with it being $80 right now, I doubt that it's even going to have enough content to justify that price point. No, that game should have been $60. But what do you expect, Primey? They were very successful when it came to the Switch 1, and now they're like, oh, well, we don't have to give you guys a deal. We don't have to be family friendly. We don't have to be pro-consumer. We can rip you guys off, and we know you're going to vote with your wallets and fork over that money.
It was $60, the standard price for games. Why can't Kirby and the Forgotten Land plus the DLC for Switch 2 also be $60?
Oh, very true. And why can't Breath of the Wild also be $60? Why can't Tears of the Kingdom also be $70 with the Switch 2 editions? Why can't all those games? Oh, I wonder why. Because they're all about F you, give me money.
Fine. Maybe you want to do 70 because maybe 70 is now the new standard since you kind of put that out there with Donkey Kong Bonanza. Fine. Even 70. Why isn't it that? Why isn't it the old game plus the DLC where it actually makes it $10 cheaper? I feel like this is just a pure greed move by Nintendo.
Finally, Primey. Is the old Primey finally coming back? Are you finally going to unleash the inner Prime already?
I felt this way this whole time. Same with the Zelda games. I know the Zelda games, like I don't have to buy the upgrades. I bought the Tears of the Kingdom Switch 2 edition because it is my favorite game. I'm kind of a sucker. I know. Gave in.
Yes, you did. You bent the knee and got blown out. How did it taste?
Donkey Kong Bonanza to me felt worth it for $70. Like that feels like a game. Okay, that feels like a really premium experience.
Primey, and this is real talk. I'm not trying to be mean in any way, so please just take this as constructive criticism. In no way is DK Bonanza worth $80. I understand that Nintendo has forgotten what quality content is, and unfortunately, you guys also forgot what quality and standards are. DK Bonanza does not have enough quality content to justify a $70 price tag. All that collectathon stuff is nothing more than bonus content. And because how easy the game is, there's no reason to even go out and search for those banana gems. You can sit here, get the ones through the main game, throw it onto your health, and you will beat the game without any trouble. The game is literally one of the easiest games that I have ever played. And with me, I put 15 hours into that game, and that was also with a good amount of side content. If I take away the side content, it would probably be more about 11 to 12 hour experience. So for a $70 game, you should get more than 11 to 15 hours of quality content. It needs to be a minimum of 20 hours to justify a $70 price tag. and it doesn't even have full dialogue voice acting. For a $70 price tag, that is the bare minimum to have, Primey, and you know that.
But that feels like a more premium experience than Mario Kart Worlds. So $80 games. I'm not a fan. I'm not saying a game can never justify $80.
Oh, I can. No game should be $80. No game should really be above $60. I've already said I accept the $70 because that's what the standard is, and that's very unfortunate. But I am very heavily critical of $70 games. You have seen my reviews. I have always been heavily critical when it comes to those $70 games. The only way I would have ever said that Mario Kart World would have been justified at $80 is if they would have included all future DLC. Like if they would have done even half of the DLC that they did for Mario Kart 8, I would have said that yes, it is justified at it being $80. But me and you all both know that they are not planning on doing that. I would say they would have mentioned it, but if we're being honest, Nintendo is very piss poor at marketing right now. We have been doing all the marketing for them.
I've definitely spent more than $80 on games before, but I want more. Like, I expect more, and maybe Nintendo will give us that more someday to make the price feel worth it. But right now, I've yet to touch an $80 game.
But unfortunately, Primey, your actions and your wallet show differently when you sit here and say that you expect more, and when you still defend the game on top of that.
The largest reason that I still really enjoy Nintendo is the reason that I play video games really goes back to my childhood. There were anti-consumer decisions happening back then. There were things like blood getting changed colors, games getting banned, lawsuits going on, violence being blamed on games.
There will always be violence blamed on games. Who are we kidding? I know that you're not trying to say that there's not, but if we're all being honest, that will never end. I guarantee you can go play a Hello Kitty damn game and they'll blame violence on that one too.
Really dumb policies, a whole bunch of stuff. But I just didn't care about that stuff as a kid, right? As a kid, I just went to Blockbuster, rented games, and just really enjoyed playing GoldenEye or even Quest 64.
Well, of course you didn't care when you were a kid. All you care about is having fun. When you're kids, you shouldn't have to worry about this kind of stuff. That's for the adults to sit here and worry about. And also, you didn't have the information you do now. You didn't have internet at your fingertips, Primey, because me and you are pretty similar in age. You are older than me, but you're not like a vastly older than me. You know, you grew up in the NES. Even though technically the Super Nintendo didn't come out until after I was born, by the time I could retain any memories, the NES was over. The Super Nintendo was the one that was out. So of course you didn't know the information that was at hand at that time. So it didn't matter. You didn't know about the anti-consumer stuff back then. The adults didn't even really know about that stuff back then. They didn't have the internet like we do nowadays. But now we do, and so it's different, Primey. You shouldn't have. So pretty much what you're saying now, that you don't worry about that stuff as much because you still have a childlike mindset. Is that what you're saying?
I just really enjoyed playing video games. I wasn't thinking all the time about all of this other stuff that might be going on. And part of that's because the internet wasn't as big, but also part of it is just I wasn't aware. All I wanted to do was play games and not think about that. And now that I'm an adult and I do this for a living, and I'm sitting here talking games every day and about the news, I realize that obviously people...
He pretty much said exactly what I said. But guess what, Primey? You're an adult now. It's time to let go of that childlike mindset. It's understandable for you not to worry about that stuff. Even for kids nowadays. I understand if a kid sit here and says, oh, Mario Kart World is the greatest game ever, and they don't care about $80. They're a child. They don't know any better. You are an adult. You do know better.
Mature, and they start to care about more different things out there, other things that impact their life that are just, might impact video games and then can impact you in other ways. But I've kept that same mentality. And
okay, so you've kept your childlike mentality, Primey. I'm sorry to tell you this. You're an adult now. It's time to let that go.
It's unfortunate. A lot of people out there will call for me to take a stance and try to, boycott Nintendo and talk about how bad they are. But the bottom line is that as long as they keep making games I want to play,
And so you should take a stand, Primey. And you don't exactly have to boycott them forever. You only have to do it temporary. You could have sat here, not bought the bundle, and they would have dropped the price of Mario Kart World. You knew that would have happened, but you didn't care. So all you're pretty much saying is, F you guys, it's all about me. Consume my product, watch my video so I can continue paying for these overpriced games. That's what you're pretty much saying.
I'm going to keep buying them because I want to play them. The same reason I played video games as a kid is the same reason I played. I didn't think about the cost back then. I just enjoyed the game. And as long as they keep making games I enjoy, like Donkey Kong Bonanza as a great example.
Okay, we all understand that you enjoy playing games, Primey, so do I. But you're not the same person you were back then. You are not a child. You are an adult. You have to grow up at some point, man. You understand now what is the difference between right and wrong. You didn't understand that back then. So now it is time for you to use some discernment and use your wallet more carefully so you don't negatively affect the consumer. Well, that's going to be it. You guys should go watch his full video. I had to cut it out, but his video was so long. If I would have reacted to the whole thing, it would have been like over an hour. So let's get into the members of the channel. We got Koros Objective, Maximilian Pegasus 88, Mad Fox 94, Shade Milkman, Oh No It's Justin, Brian Payne, Andy Ritz, Jay Wesby 65, C Stars Piplup, Cam, Astrius Lane, Maximus 2400, and John Molina. Thank you so much for becoming part of the crew. And if you truly enjoy this content, why don't you think about becoming a member? It's only $1 a month. You get special emotes, badges, and you get a shout out at the end of each video until it becomes too long, and then it'll be turned into a credit roll. And also, I got an awesome merch lined up for you guys. I got amazing shirts, hoodies, I got coffee mugs, I got desk mats, I got a bunch of different kinds, so why don't you check it out also. And please like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, guys, stay vigilant.
You can cry in the comments, but you won't survive. Like and subscribe if you feel that vibe. We're hard